Sliding in like a Chris Collinsworth Monday night slide into the booth is Damien Harris, one of Buffalo's newest running backs, joining the fray this past offseason. The pride of Richmond, Kentucky.
That's right.
Is here. And then how far a drive is it from Richmond? Have you done the drive, or did you fly in?
No,
most of the time.
Well, so I flew in from Miami.
Oh, that's right, because that's where you are now.
Yes, sir. I was training down there, but my mom and my younger sisters actually just drove up a couple of days ago. So I think it's like a 7.5 hour, 8 hour drive.
So not horrible to come to a home
bad.
game.
No, it's not bad.
Certainly a lot closer than Foxborough.
Yeah, that was like 15, 16 hours.
That's a haul.
Yeah,
that's a haul.
But I will say though, my mom and my sisters, they got in the car and they made the road trip, as often as they could.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so shout out to my mom and my little sisters.
All right, so and they're saying good for you because you cut their drive in half for home games.
So you're coming off the practice field. What are your first impressions? How's it gone early going? And what do you notice about this organization coming in cold?
It's been great so far. The city of Buffalo, the Bills, the organization, my teammates, the coaches, really everybody has welcomed me with open arms. And, I think that's just been the biggest, upside for me in this transition is just everybody welcoming me with open arms. And, I think with my history and my track record of playing here in Orchard Park, it seems like everybody's excited for me to be on the Bills now.
Right,
so, I think everybody knows I've had some of my best games here. So,
we talked about it.
I remember.
We already brought it up.
Right. So, hopefully now that I'm here, I'm here and I'm settled, maybe we'll have a lot more of those big-time games.
The Bills were, they were a top 2 offense in the league last year. They were a top 10 offense in the red zone. And I know the Patriots, for years on end, have always excelled on offense and defense, for that matter, in the red area. Like Coach Belichick's really good at putting together productive teams in those areas of the field for obvious reasons. And number 9, as a ranking in the red zone on offense, is nothing to be unsatisfied with. But it's clear to me, based on you being here, the investment at the guard position this offseason by this team, just reading the tea leaves, it seems like running between the tackles is going to be a bigger emphasis this year. Not any more plays necessarily, but be better at it, if you know what I'm getting at. Mm-hmm. And you check the box there as far as I'm concerned, and I know Steve feels the same way. What is it about that makes that part of the game look so effortless for you when you're running between the tackles?
I think it's just a combination, first and foremost, of God-given ability. I wouldn't be here without my Lord and Savior. He has blessed me beyond measure and, blessed me with the talent to be sitting in this seat talking to you guys. I think when you combine that and just how much I love the game, the determination that I play with, and I don't really think about it too much. I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, I'm going to try to run through everybody. I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to just try to go out and be the best player that I can be, be the best Damien Harris that I can be. And, I know what I'm good at and I know what my game, is based on and, what I excel at. And obviously the things that there's things I want to get better at as well. But, I know what I bring to a team and to an offense. So, my thought process every day is just go out and be the best version of myself, because I know if I do that, then I'll help a team.
How was the process of free agency, being out there and all the, stuff you got to go through? I know how. For a lot of guys, it feel like, God, I'm unemployed. But, right?
Yeah,
so,
I definitely.
So, tell me about your experience there with, I'm sure you had interest from a number of teams. Give us a rundown of your thought process and how it ended up coming to Orchard Park.
I feel like the stars just aligned. I think I say that, with all the history I have here in Orchard Park and, just not having to go too far, staying in the division, it almost felt like, the stars just aligned for me to be here. And, once the deal was done, I felt very fortunate to be joining another great organization, coming from one great organization and going to another. I know there's like this rivalry going on now, and I understand that. But, I want to express my gratitude for the time I had in New England because, those were great 4 years. And, I'm excited for the future. So, that was kind of my mindset the whole time. I knew that whatever team I ended up on, it was going to be another part of God's plan. And whatever team it was going to be, I would have had the same mindset of just show up and be the best version of myself. So, I kind of let my agent do all the dirty work. Mm-hmm. I kind of put my phone on Do Not Disturb unless it was for my agent. But, I just trained, and I knew that, God was he was going to direct my path, and, here I am.
You may not want to talk about this, but I was going to ask you if we're all, because we know what it's like playing in the AFC East. Did all 3 other AFC East teams like pick up the phone and say, "Hey, what about it?" Like, did you hear? I know you heard from the Bills, obviously, Dolphins, Jets. I mean, seeing you twice a year for 4 years and playing for that organization, and I know you had great games against us. That has to mean something to you when the teams that saw you the most
Right.
kind of had some interest.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Teams in the division, we're familiar. I'm familiar with, all the teams in our division and, playing against these teams multiple times. I definitely think that factored into, what brought me here. We keep going back to it, but, the familiarity with me playing here, playing against the Bills and, just how those games went, how I played and, so on and so forth. I think that all of that together just kind of was all a part of the plan, and, it just ultimately led me here.
You've got 20 career touchdowns. 18 have come in the red zone, 8 of those from 2 yards and in, which is music to the ears of Bills fans because they're terrified every time Josh is running around down there.
Right.
And I think they see you, they see Latavius Murray, and they're like, oh, maybe we won't have to worry about Josh as much. We could just give it to a back who knows how to get in the end zone. What's your mindset when you're lined up down there? I mean, maybe it's simple. It's like, just get in. But, like, does your mindset shift? Because it's like, here's the end of the drive. It's time to be a finisher.
Definitely. I think that once you're that close to the end zone, regardless of if it's a run play, a pass play, whatever the coaches call, when you're that close and you're knocking on the doorstep of getting points, I think it's just a collective effort from all 11 guys. I know that when I step in the huddle and the ball's on the one, regardless of what the play is, I know that I'm thinking like, all right, regardless of what happens, regardless of what the play is, regardless of what my job is, the right guard, the X receiver, the quarterback, everybody, like everybody's got to do whatever it takes to get the ball in the end zone. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now, when a run play is called, obviously, I don't want to make too much of it, but, a little light bulb pops up in my head like, okay, like, what are we going to do here? You know what I mean? Because we're, you're on the one. And as a running back, obviously, if you're on the one, if you're on the two, hell, even if you're on the three, and you get stopped, that's just like it's a disheartening feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What have the Bills told you about your role, about because the Bills are a little bit like the Patriots. They roll guys through, James Cook and yourself and the rest of the guys. What have they told you about what their offensive philosophy? What have you been able to glean? You don't have to get into specifics, but what about this Bills offense that excites you, and some of the things that may be different than what you've had in the past?
I think that what excites me the most is just knowing that I have a role. Everybody has a role, and everybody's role is different. And, you mentioned other backs, and, we got a lot of great backs. We got a lot of great players in general, but, we got a running back room full of great players. So everybody's going to have a role, and, I know I have my role, and that's been, communicated to me, and, I know what my role is, and, I got to get better at that role along with getting better at other things as well. So I think everybody knows that they have a role. Everybody knows what's expected of them, and then as players, as professionals, it's up to us to go out there and do our jobs.
I think last one for me. I think in an ideal world for Bills fans, they're seeing a lot of 22 on the field in the last 4 minutes of a football game because the Bills are up, and you're getting the tough yards when the other team knows you want to salt the game away and run it. How comfortable do you feel in that kind of a role? Like, hey, it's finish time here. Let's finish the game. Let's kill the game, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I feel as confident in that as any other part of my game. At the end of the game, as an offense, you want to end with the ball in your hands. That just because that probably means you're going to win the game. But it's as simple as that. In a tough situation, trying to put the game away. As a runner, as a team who's in a 4-minute offense that wants to put the game away, it's just a mentality. You know what I mean? You want to put the other team away and, just like I said, finish with the ball in your hands. And, when you have a group that's confident, a group that, the offensive line is working well with the backs and, everything is working harmoniously and you can close out games that way, I think that really pays dividends for our team.
It's great to see you, man. Congratulations on being here. I hope it goes swimmingly for you, man.
I think it will.
Yeah, awesome.
Good to have you here. Thanks for stopping by and letting the fans get to know you a little bit. I know they're always interested, and they don't just want to see a jersey and a helmet running around out there. They want to see the face that goes with the guy under the helmet. So thanks for stopping by. That's Damien Harris.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Stay
Yeah,
happy.
sure.
Thank
Your
you so
newest
much.
running back here on the roster.